This could potentially be a logical conundrum that might overheat your CPU. Imagine you generally have 2 biological parents, and each of your parents possesses their own set of parents. This implies you should have 4 grandparents, 8 great-grandparents, and so forth. With every generation you trace back, the quantity of your ancestors doubles. If you compute at this pace, tracing back 40 generations, the number of your ancestors would reach an astonishing 1 trillion. Here's the dilemma. The worldwide population during that period was approximately 400 million, and even if we take into account all human ancestors, the total cumulative population is merely 107 billion. And that's not even considering others' ancestors. This means with Earth's limited population, all ancestors must have overlapped significantly at some point, known as Maikoiseki. To provide a more comprehensive explanation of this phenomenon, let's consider a scenario where your parents happen to be first cousins. This implies that 2 out of your 4 grandparents are siblings, sharing the same set of parents, who are your great-grandparents. Consequently, when determining the number of your great-grandparents, the shared ancestors of these siblings would be counted once more, since they have the same set of parents. The primary reason for this occurrence is that, historically, humans generally selected partners based on geographical proximity. Since most people's social circles were small, marriages between relatives were not uncommon. For instance, famous figures like Darwin and Einstein chose to marry their cousins, which created intersections in their family trees, significantly reducing the number of distinct ancestors. Additionally, some European royal families encouraged close-kin marriages over time to maintain the purity of their bloodlines. Although in our traditional understanding, ancestors refer to all people who are related to you by blood, from a genetic perspective, only those who have passed their genes to you are considered true ancestors. And this number can suddenly decrease. Although it seems quite contradictory, considering all your genes come from your ancestors, the key issue lies in this. DNA does not come equally from each ancestor. Imagine, you inherit half of your DNA from each parent, but it's not half of their complete DNA. Rather, it's a randomly recombined half. For example, half of your mother's genes come from your grandfather, and half from your grandmother. However, when the DNA is passed down to you, it could be entirely from your grandfather, or entirely from your grandmother. Therefore, you do not inherit exactly 25% of your DNA from each grandparent. This means that as you trace back through generations, the DNA fragments left to you by each ancestor decrease exponentially. By the time you reach the 10th generation, you have about a 9% chance of inheriting any of their DNA. When tracing back to the 15th generation, the probability is less than 3%. It can be said that for most of the more distant ancestors, almost no DNA can be passed on to you. Even though nominally, your lineage ancestors constitute a vast familial empire, genetically speaking, the ancestors whose genetic material truly resides within your body represent merely a small segment of that extensive family pyramid.